Hello, church family. Thank you for joining us for our daily Devos. My name is David Norton, and today we're going to be continuing through the book of Esther. Our reading today was Esther chapter 6. We've seen Esther become queen in previous chapters, and we've also been introduced to other key characters like her cousin Mordecai and Haman, who is an official of the king who harbors hatred towards the people of Israel. And what we're going to see today in this story is more of Mordecai and more of Haman. Where we pick off in this story, the king of Persia is unable to sleep. And so because he was unable to sleep, he calls servants over and has them read the records to him. And as they're reading the records, he recalls a situation that we read previously in Esther chapter 2, a situation where Mordecai actually saved the king from an attack on his life. And the king realizes that they did nothing to honor Mordecai. They did nothing to honor him for the way he saved the king. So the king decides, I am going to honor him. What's ironic is the person he calls forth to honor Mordecai. Because in Esther chapter 5, I'm going to read the following verses where we see that Haman was harboring hatred and anger towards Mordecai because Mordecai would not honor and would not bow to Haman. So let's read real quick. Then Haman went out the day, glad and pleased of heart. But then Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, and that he did not stand up or tremble before Haman. Haman was filled with anger against Mordecai. That was chapter 5, verse 9. And then later, because of Mordecai's refusal to bow to Haman, we see in the later verses that Haman's wife and Haman plan to take Mordecai's life. In verse 14, then Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends said to him, have a gallows 50 cubits high made, and in the morning ask the king to have Mordecai hanged on it. Then go joyfully with the king to the banquet. And the advice pleased Haman, so he had the gallows made. So at this moment where the king is deciding to finally order Mordecai, to honor Mordecai, we see that Haman is also planning to take Mordecai's life. So in chapter 6, the king asks Haman to come forth, and it is Haman that the king asks for advice on how to honor Mordecai. Haman is forced to honor the very man he was seeking to kill. He's forced to honor the man that would not honor him. And so the lesson we learn is that we see that Mordecai was not seeking honor. He was not seeking his own pride. He was merely seeking obedience and seeking to honor God and those who are in authority. But in vice versa, we see that Haman was wanting glory. He was wanting people to recognize him. He was wanting pride. And when they would not give it to him, he was angered to the point of wanting them dead. And we see the irony here that Haman is forced to honor Mordecai. We have these same battles with pride. We have these same battles of sometimes we do things to be honored. We do things to receive glory. And so what we learn in this passage is God humbles the proud and rewards the humble. And now this may not always be on our timing. As we see, Mordecai was rewarded way after the fact. The king only recognized when they were reading the record books. And we also see that Haman was not humbled till later. Sometimes God does not reward us for our obedience, but we just need to trust that that time will come and continue to seek him in obedience. And sometimes the prideful around us will not be humbled on the time that we seek, but we need to trust that that humbling will come and just rest in Christ. That is all I have. Have a good day.